Nobody deported more people than Obama, President Obama. They called him the deporter in chief. I have a friend, my mentor, dear friend, his best friend pastored the largest Spanish-speaking church in America. And ICE would camp out after church. This is during Obama's presidency. And they would take people from his church as soon as church got out.
What's going on, fam? This is Anthony from the Not Offended podcast, the conservative Chicano right here. If y'all could do me a favor, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you could leave a comment, hit the like button, but most of all, if you could hit subscribe, we'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Welcome to Not Offended Podcast. It's your boy, Anthony, conservative Chicano. I got my guys here. I got the bishop. I got the token. Man, what an incredible week. I want to say shout out to everybody who liked the podcast. And I'm going to go ahead and say, and everybody who commented on the podcast, we're going to get to that. Because the comments were totally one-sided this week. And yours truly is going to have to eat a little bit of crow. But I'm not going to do it yet. But I'm going to get there. And I know you guys are already smiling, laughing, grinning. You guys saw it coming from a mile away. But I do want to encourage everybody. We talk about culture and its influence on the church. So do me a favor right now. Hit a like. Hit a share. Follow us on Instagram. You can find us on the radio. You can find us everywhere that podcasts are available. Thank you so much. We appreciate everybody who chimes in and tunes in faithfully. Okay, guys. So here it is. I'm going to eat crow. I'm just going to start off. I'm going to eat crow. Apparently, I'm wrong. Because not only did people comment a lot on our podcast about how wrong I was, I got text messages, I got DMs, I got people stopping me in grocery stores, gas stations, everywhere. And here it is, the big moment. I was wrong. This is Central Cali, baby. That's what it is. It's Central Cali. Why you find this so funny? Why? You like it when I'm wrong?
No, I don't care.
You care.
I knew that last week. So
we didn't have an epiphany over the week. We knew.
Okay, and you know your girl. Shout out Cassandra. She said, not only am I wrong, I'm 1,000% wrong. Yeah. What is 1,000% wrong? Have you, as her husband, ever been 1,000% wrong?
Man. No, the focus is on you. Go ahead. Don't try to blame shift that over here.
What happened to those points?
No, the people in the valley have a pride for the valley.
It was legit, bro. Like people told me go back to Stockton. Like, I mean, it was serious. I was like, I no longer can pastor a church up here. Apparently.
Oh yeah, you don't see those big green V's tattooed on people.
Valley, baby. It's Valley.
On the back of trucks.
So you guys knew going into this I was wrong.
Yeah.
You knew going into this.
Yeah, I was right when you said it. We both looked at each other like, what is he talking about?
So you knew right when it was coming out of my mouth, like, there's hell to pay for Anthony. Like, you knew, like, this is it. He's in the crucible now. It's over for him.
I've heard Trump say Central Valley. I don't think he knows what he's talking about, but
oh my gosh. So that's a low blow, bro. That's bad. You're like, even this guy knows. Okay, thanks, Deshaun. Moving right along. So I'm going to shout out myself for being wrong then on this podcast. Okay, well, you know what? I just want to model for everybody, when you're wrong, just admit it. Don't try to sugarcoat it, scapegoat it or nothing. Just, hey, you know what? Take it like a man. I'm wrong. I was wrong. Okay, now moving on. Super Bowl this weekend. Super Bowl. Anybody got any dogs in this fight here? Who you want to win, Mike? Give me a prediction. Who's going to win? And give me a score. Come on.
Voting with my head or voting with my heart?
Let's go with the head because the heart's always wrong.
Okay, Chiefs. Chiefs 27-21.
Ooh.
Or 27-24. Something like that.
Okay. Which one do you want, though? You got to give us one.
I think they'll get a field goal. I think Philadelphia will kick a field goal. So I'm going to go 24-17. 24-17, Kansas City.
Okay. What you got, Bishop?
I'm going for the Chiefs.
Okay, because you want to witness what again?
What?
Greatness, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. See another great quarterback.
Great white quarterback.
No, Tom Brady's already retired.
We can't have them all.
We can't have them all. Okay.
Right.
Do you have a score? Give me a score.
I don't know. 21. I don't know. 28. 35.
Okay, so 35-21.
Yep.
So obviously Chiefs because you just said. Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think Jalen Hurts gets it done, and I'm gonna tell you why I think he gets it done. I think with Barkley running the ball, I think they can control the clock. I will say that not only do I think they can control the clock, according to stats, you have to get on Spagnuolo's defense early or you won't get him in the second half. So I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go Eagles 34 and I'm going to go the Chiefs 24.
Ooh.
I think they have ball control. I think turnovers will play into a factor. I don't know if that's a special teams turnover. I don't know if that's Mahomes throwing a pick. But I truly believe that the Chiefs are susceptible. But you got to do it early. I'm going to say 3/4 of those points, 24 plus of those points have to be scored in that first half. You just don't score on Spagnuolo's defense in the second half. I don't think he's ever, and this goes to regular season, I don't think Spagnuolo's defense has ever given up more than 17 points in a half, second half, ever. Regular season, playoffs, anything. I think that's the max. It was 17, not more than 17. That's how good he is in second half adjustments. So I think because of ball control, they keep the ball long. They have all these plays. They wear down that Kansas City defense. That's just my opinion. So now if Saquon gets hurt, if Barkley gets hurt and they don't have that running game, it's over. Chiefs win by 10, 14 points. They get the three-peat, first ever. So, okay, we're going to take – this is an actual Vegas bet, okay? So I just didn't know if you guys are aware of this.
You placed this in Vegas?
No. You can place this bet in Vegas. I didn't, but you can. You ready? Plus or minus 10 shots of Taylor Swift on Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah, over under 10 shots of Taylor Swift.
Oh.
Come on.
Under.
You're going, I'm for sure. What? Okay, I'm going to say what I'm going to do, but you can tell what I'm going for.
Well, obviously, if that's the line, then they believe that line's got to be there.
That line's there for a reason. 10 shots of her. Now it could be her with somebody else. Just her in the shot. How many shots? Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, that's not fair because you're saying she's in the same box as Mahomes' wife.
We don't know who she's in the box with. She could be in with the owner's daughter. We don't know. This is a Super Bowl. It's not like that.
So not just her
by herself, but a shot of Taylor Swift. What are we going? Because 2 Super Bowls. Remember, she had her whole little crew. Icy Spice or somebody was with her. She had all these other people with her. So who do you got?
I don't even know.
Over under. This is a real bet, bro. Like
I haven't watched one football game this
okay,
year.
but
you don't need to.
You don't need to. This is Taylor Swift.
I don't know anything about over.
Okay, over. I'm with Deshaun. I'm going with over. I think you're right.
I'm gonna go under then.
Okay, you're gonna go under.
Taylor Swift could have died.
Okay.
I don't know. Like I don't know about Taylor Swift.
Real quickly, had Taylor Swift died, you would know.
Okay.
Trust me, you would know that would erupt every social media platform there is. Okay.
Even the people who you care about would talk about it.
Yes, trust me. It'd be the world would stop. Okay, I got to show you guys something. I only got to show you this. You don't know it's coming. This is going to be the best part. But I want to get you guys' view. This is shout out my boy Miguel Osueda. He sent this to me. I love this one. I thought this one was hilarious. I thought it was great and very accurate. So I want you guys to watch this.
Hey, Pastor Mark, great service today. Yes, sir. I even brought the homie. It was his first time. Hey, tell him how it was, bro.
Yeah, Pastor, that message was turned like a
But yeah, like I was saying, it's his first time. But he even said he liked it enough that he's gonna come back next week.
On God, I'm gonna be back next Sunday, Pastor. I might even bring my side piece. Hey, she needs Jesus too.
No, yeah, Pastor. No, he met his girlfriend, which was actually perfect timing with the message today about relationships. That was awesome.
Yeah, it taught me a little something too. I need me a holy honey I could cuff up. Hey, Pastor, you got anybody you could introduce me to at the church?
No, yeah, Pastor. He just meant friends in general. Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, he just wants some brothers in Christ to be surrounded with, that's all.
Yes, sir. Hey, they teach me how to read the Bible. I teach them how to roll craps at the function. Hey, Pastor, if they win, that's more tithe money for the church now.
But okay, no worries, Pastor. We'll let you get to it. Yes, sir. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, Pastor Mark, stay smooth now. I'm gonna with you.
I watched this like 3 or 4 times. I absolutely love this video. I even commented on it. I love this so much. What do you guys think of the video? That's accurate, though. That ever happened to you guys? When people find out, they talk to you one way, then they find out you're a pastor and they totally switch it up.
Yeah.
This guy just kept it real. That's all. He didn't know? Yeah. You didn't like this video or what? I love this video.
It's okay. I mean, yeah. I don't know.
What do you think?
Accurate, yes. Yes, definitely have been in those conversations.
Got a side piece. Holy honey.
Yeah.
Okay. The part about I could teach him how to shoot craps for more tithe money. Bro, that would be dying. Okay, I had to show that to you. You always look unimpressed though. You like, I know if you're laughing.
Well, my wife gets mad at me too. She's like, she'll show me stuff like, why aren't you laughing? I'm like, I don't know.
Why aren't you laughing? That was funny.
I don't know.
Yes, my wife does the exact same thing. She'll show it to me. I don't get it.
You got that one though.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
People definitely coast, like they'll find out you're a pastor and then everything changes.
Of course. But I like people who don't change. They just keep going. I thought that was good. Hey, leave a comment if you like that video or not, if that's ever happened to you. And if you're a pastor who watches, let us know. Share a story. That'd be great. I absolutely love that video. Okay, let's talk about the message this week. So, Bishop, you spoke this weekend. How did you feel you did? Is there anything you want to play Monday morning quarterback on yourself with?
Not just forget about it. Throw the tape away. Burn it. Move forward.
The game film?
Lord, you do whatever you need to do.
No, you don't feel like. Do you feel like you got across the heart of the message and what you were trying to get to people?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if I think something like I did better, just the ending could be better. But other than that, I think it was.
What did you like? What did you not like about your ending?
I mean, I changed it in a few of them. Just be more.
Okay, so I only got to, because I was out of town. I only got to see the 9:30 one. So
that one I might have said it. Just be more concise on what I want people to do.
And what did you want them to do? So what did you change? Let me ask that.
What would I change? Just really. I mean, I think I got it across, but could talk about the ascension of Christ and Him being an authority and have the power. But really, for people just to understand, like, hey, you can be assured of this, and you can go out in faith, and whatever God asks you to give up, you can do it, in knowing that, hey, you're going to be okay. Okay. I think that's what you see in Job. Like, he's like, you know, he complains and he's mad about stuff, but he's like, no, I'm gonna be okay because I got God on my side. Yeah.
Mike, how did you feel Bishop did this weekend? I mean, I'm sure you sat in two of the three, or you heard at least two of the three, or maybe all three. You think he's being hard on himself, or how do you think he did? Hey, this is your opportunity to pile on if you want to.
No, I'd never do that. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do him like that. I think that he did. He made an adjustment between the first and the second service. I didn't see the third service. But no, I think he did a really great job. I mean, Deshaun has a love for the word, so when he preaches, you know you're going to get a lot of it. And I think everybody really enjoys that. I heard a lot of great feedback. Certain people were like, yeah, we really love when we know he's speaking. Like we really love it. So I thought he did great. I don't know why we always give ourselves a hard time. So.
Monday mornings. Oh yeah, definitely quarterbacking. You know, you could have had a game where you went 30 for 35 for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. You're like, I could have made.
But I missed
5.
one. Yeah.
That other one could have been a touchdown. So you said something yesterday. I was shout out Generations Church out in Sacramento. Pastor Chase and Becca. Becca did a phenomenal job preaching. Actually preaching on what I'm preaching on this weekend. She was a week ahead of me here. Acts chapter 2, 42 to 47. But anyway, you said something in the sermon that I literally had to stop and write down. You said there are no victims in Christ. He was not a victim. And I just thought, how accurate is that? And we're living in a day and age where people are victims for everything. Even of victimless crimes, you're a victim. And I loved how you put that, just talking about how there's victory in the cross and what Christ did. He may have been nailed. And I like what you said. It was his obedience that held him to the cross, which I've often said, how do you murder, if I could say it that way, or kill a guy who heals himself?
Yeah.
We have no record of Jesus ever breaking a bone, getting sick, having an infirmity, but we have every record. We have numerous records. John went on to say we couldn't even write them all down, of him healing people, raising the dead, right? So how do you hold a guy to a cross who can heal himself? Well, I think you said it best in his obedience. So why, if we have him living on the inside of us, why do we still hold the victim card? Why do we still hold that victim card when we can find victory out of our victimhood or even victimization? We can still find victory. And by the way, not giving a pass, not saying what happened was good and glorious. I'm not saying that, but you can find freedom and you can find victory from that past. So Mike, why would you say people play that victim card? What's inside of them that wants them to still hold on to that, or even play that card at every given opportunity instead of walking in victory and freedom in Christ?
Man, that's a loaded question. There's a lot of layers to that one. I think maybe a layer would be, I think maybe sometimes we're not where we want to be in life.
Okay.
You play the comparison card, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you're not where you want to be in life, and so you use your past or maybe even some things that are still current to say that's why I'm not where I want to be.
Okay.
And if I play that card and everybody else, allows me to, then they give me a pass as well to kind of not be where I want to be.
What would you say?
it's funny. I keep going back to Job, but as you read like through his story and you read some chapters, you hear him like complaining almost like he's a victim. But it's funny, he always comes back into this assurance that God is with him and he's going to be okay. But it's hard to have that belief that you think you're going to be okay and God's going to be with you if you walk in disobedience. Job was walking in obedience to God. Like he was living a life that was righteous before God. So he knew a lot of times, his friends were saying like, oh, this is your fault. He was like, hey, this isn't my fault. He's like, I can't wait till the day when you guys can see my life.
Right.
And you can see that, hey, this isn't my fault. It isn't because I was being disobedient to God. So if you walk in disobedience, it's hard to be secure in your faith. It's hard to be secure that, God, I know you're with me, because you're thinking, man, my stupid actions maybe had caused this problem. But if you know, like, God, no, I'm living for you and I walk in obedience, man, this is a hard time right now, but I trust you that you're going to be there for me. You're going to see me through.
Can I ask you guys a question? And I don't mean for it to be loaded. I agree with you. That was kind of a loaded question because there's a lot of layers. Thank you for your answers. But I do have a question, and it's a question that's been, I don't want to say plaguing me, but nagging, if I could use that, nagging at me. I feel, and I could be wrong, but I feel like we live in a time and we live in a culture that almost celebrates victimhood, celebrates victimization, glorifies these type of things, instead of really putting the emphasis on the people who are getting free and asking more questions on how they got free. Am I being overly sensitive, or are we living in a time where people want to put labels and those labels get more recognition and more celebration than the people who are walking in freedom? Am I reading the room wrong, or do you feel like there's some validity? Any one of you could jump in.
It's an easier route to say like, this isn't my fault, to put the blame on someone else. Anything negative in your life, just to give it to someone else, and now you need to repay me, or someone needs to take care of that. It's a lot easier to do it that way, instead of you saying like, maybe something really did negative happen to you, but it's like, okay, I got to move on and I have to get better and I have to keep getting stronger, instead of like, hey, this is your fault, the blame is on you.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, and I think I was starting to wonder like why, because I think that victimhood is celebrated now. Just kind of like as I'm talking about it out loud, like I don't want people to think that like if you were a victim of something that you shouldn't be respected or taken care of and loved. Sure. I know what you mean. Right. And so I don't think it's just like, well, we just do away with everybody who's had any trauma or cause them to be a victim. But I do agree that the way they do even like school counseling and stuff like that, like they almost like desire for people to be victims. Mm-hmm. They look for things in your family background. They look for they ask probing questions to try to figure out, oh yeah, play this card. This is a victim card. Yeah, there you go. Now you're labeled that. And so I started thinking like, man, like what was the shift? Or why is that? And I don't know. I don't have the answer. That's what just kind of where my brain was going. And maybe it has to do with like, maybe, and I could be wrong, there were years where like it was never brought up.
Okay.
And so we went from just kind of like one side of the pendulum, and we just swung it all the way to the other side. So we never talked about it. We never brought it up. We never discussed it. We never allowed you to even admit that you were a victim in any type of way. So what we do now is we just push it all the way over to here, and everybody's a victim.
So I agree with you. Thank you for clarifying. I guess celebrated was a little much of a word. And what I mean by that though is it gets a lot of airtime. So I don't mean celebrated as in they just won the Super Bowl, because some of the stuff that's happened to people, I don't mean it in that same category. What I just meant is it's what people lead with, if I could put it to you that way. And with that, there gets a lot of recognition, and it gets a lot of conversation. But the people who are walking in the freedom, the people who are walking in the liberation, or walking in the fulfillment of their God-given design and purpose, right? That doesn't really get that same run. That's what I was alluding to. So talking about that, it just gets me thinking, did social media have a part to play in that? In other words, you have people out there who can relate easier to people who are in their trauma as compared to people who are walking in their victory. Do you think does that make sense? Hopefully I clarified that a little bit more. I think social media played a part in that, because you're going to get 1,000 people to watch this video, and 999 are going to be like, hey, I relate more with their trauma than their victory because I don't have victory yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm trying to clear that up.
Well, you think about celebrate recovery is celebrating your recovery. It's not celebrating your addiction. And so I think what a lot of people are doing now might be celebrating their addictions or their traumas and not celebrating their recovery. Obviously, if you're going through something, you want to go around other people who have that same experience, and you can walk through it together in your recovery. But a lot of times you're just like, no, I'm broken, I'm hurt, and they're just staying there, and they're not actually trying to get better together.
Okay, what'd you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I just
you feel like this is a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, you just got me.
Like
you just got me just kind of thinking over here.
Well, okay. The reason I asked this, because I was going back to when I said I literally stopped it and just had a whole thought about this. A song came back to mind, and it's called "In the Living Years" by Mike and the Mechanics. There's a line in that song that just gets me every time. It says, "Every generation blames the one before." And it's so true. Every generation does blame the one before. Oh, it's their fault. And you said it a minute ago. Because the pendulum was swung away over here, we swing it way over here. And in the quest, I think it's with the best of intentions, and it's the hope to get in the middle, but you don't end up in the middle. You stick over here. And I think we're seeing the fruits of that. We're seeing the fruits of that. Instead of asking people, hey, how did you get free from that? Hey, how are you able to walk in victory? Your life was hell. And yet you're happy. You have a purpose. You seem successful. How did you do that coming out of where you came out of? Instead, we get these influencers on TikTok and Instagram and whatever else. And all we do is we keep relating to their trauma instead of walking in their victory, as if they're even walking in victory yet. And to me, that's very detrimental to a believer. I'm not saying for non-believers. I'm saying for believers. For believers, if you want to walk in the victory of the Lord, you got to find somebody who's been victorious in the Lord. Does that make any sense? That's what I'm trying to get at. And when you mentioned that again yesterday, I had to chin check myself, because it's real easy to play that, especially going through Job, and really I should be looking in more introspectively and retrospectively and saying, God, how can I get the victory over this situation? Nobody controls me but you, God. How can I get the victory? I can't control a lot of things, but I sure can't control my attitude. I can control my actions. I can control my words. I can control my mouth. I can control my thought life. All the things I can't control, that I should control. Submitted and surrendered to the person, the power, and the presence of the Holy Spirit. And I think that's how you walk in that spirit-filled life. Instead of having this victim mentality, which Christ could have surely resurrected with, the victim mentality. Y'all killed me. Instead he goes, y'all didn't even know what you was doing. Y'all didn't even know this was a part of the plan. What you meant for evil, God meant for good, and now I'm here to liberate you. I just think if we had more of that type of thinking, I think we'd see a fruitful, more forceful, and I mean in a good way, gospel going forward, and a church on purpose and a church on mission. That's just me. That's where I was going with that. Did you want to chime in on any of that? Or no. Your message? I kind of hijacked your message right there.
No.
So yeah. So okay. So moving right along then. We've always taken great honor and pride, not in the negative sense, of talking about things that most people are afraid to talk about, and most people don't want to approach that. But the conversation, and it's trending, and it's going to continue to trend, especially out here in the West Coast, which I still think West Coast is the best coast. That's just me. In Central Cal, though, okay? Central Cal. Hopefully, one more time, Central Cal, just for everybody, so I don't get any messages or death threats over here.
Okay, can I just throw something out there?
If not, if it's going to get me in trouble, I got
no.
my name right.
It's not. It has.
Okay.
So is it Central Cal or is it the Valley?
I thought they were interchangeable. It's interchangeable. Deshaun, you be the tiebreaker. Is it Valley or Central Cal?
Yeah, I thought it was the same thing.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying that they're not the same thing, but do people say, I'm from Central Cal, or do they say I'm from the Valley?
I think it depends on who you're talking to. If you're from California, you say the Valley. If you're not Central Cal, okay. But you guys could chime in on that too, but leave my name out.
The question I still had, what is Stockton?
No.
That's the question I had.
No.
I said it. No, I seriously don't know.
I told you what it was. I moved on. It's NorCal.
Okay.
I moved on. I moved on. We're past this.
All right. So we stop at Modesto.
Yes, we're past this.
Right.
Okay. So the trending topic, of course, is the topic of all the protests going on about the deportations, and so the illegal immigration and all this stuff. I'm not going to get into the nuanced, politically correct words. We're just going to use terms that everybody knows. There's a whole thing, undocumented people, they're not aliens, all this stuff. Okay, listen, illegal immigration. So the question, I was even at a pastor's conference, this question is coming up. Now, it's coming up mainly amongst most Hispanic pastors, and they either lead pastors or they serve on staff at a church that's pretty white. And so they're like, hey, how do we handle this? You know, people, you can tell they're always real nervous to talk about it. And I thought, first off, I wrote something down, and hopefully this helps us and helps the audience. So audience, I need you to, mi gente people, I could do both English and Spanish. I just need you to lean in because I want to say something, and this is from my heart. We're living in a time right now where people want sensationalism. They want extremism. And the quest for the radical middle has always been the church's number one tool to use against the enemy. The radical middle. I need you to catch that. And the reason the radical middle is something we should contend for and something we should fight for is because that's where most people live, is in the middle. And I call it radical because it's a new way of thinking because of Christ. So radical middle. Most people want to live in the middle. And let me give you a case in point. I think if you went up to 100 people, especially Hispanic people, and they said, hey, would you like to get rid of murderers? And would you like to take people who murdered somebody in America and send them back to their country? Or would you like them to stand trial here in the States and basically risk still getting deported? What would you rather do? I would say at least 97, 98 out of that 100 would say, well, send the person back to serve their time in their own country. Whether they're Hispanic, Chinese, Lebanese, whatever, it doesn't matter. I think most people would agree with that. In the same breath, I think if you took most believers, most Bible-based believers who love Jesus, who have an authentic relationship with Christ, and you said, hey, that average worker who just tried to come over and make something better for their lives, they're trying to support their family. They're trying to give them a better opportunity. Right now they're construction. Right now they're a cook. Something, right? Notice I didn't say field worker because that seems to be where everybody likes to say, and there's more to it than field workers, right? And you said, hey, what do we do with that person? I guarantee you most Bible-believing people, 97, 98% would say, why can't we find them a pathway to citizenship? Why can't we really help them? Before I go any further, do you guys agree with that assessment? Do you feel like that? Now the numbers could be off a little bit, but do you feel like that's a holistic approach? What do you say, Bishop? What do you got?
Yeah, I'll say most believers would, people who are here and working and good citizens, that they want them to be here.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But the people who are doing wrong,
yeah,
you think they say, okay, Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with both those assessments.
Okay, but that's not what you hear in the media. That's not what you hear in the media. What you get in the media is you get these extremism. Let me give you a case in point. A lady got on TikTok or Instagram something. She got on something. She said that ICE was in the Madera courthouse and they were rounded up people. The courthouse had to put out a statement and said, they're not here. They haven't been here. We're not notified that they're even coming here. Don't do that. And so what you get is you get these extremes. And what it is the enemy uses this to polarize each other and to bring a wedge and a divide in there. And so now you got separate because people don't want radical middle. And in order to have good conversation, in order to have robust conversation, good dialogue, and to really hear people out, you got to contend for the radical middle. And I suggest to you that the church has lost its voice in the radical middle because we take one side or we take the other. It's what's got us canceled the most. And I always say, and I say it to you guys, I've said it before, I get my conservative friends who say I'm too liberal, and I get my liberal friends who say I'm too conservative. You know what I say when people tell me that? Then I'm exactly where Jesus would be. I'm exactly there in the middle. This is what he was on. He told the religious scholars, you guys don't know the word of God. And he told the people who didn't know the word of God, I'm going to teach you the word of God. He was in the middle. The woman I could go on and on and on and on and on. This is where the church has its most punch. This is where it lives its best life, is if we have the quest for the radical middle. And I think as men and women of God, we got to come in for the radical middle. Now I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to share something with you, and you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. I feel this way for a good reason. If you're asking me for the people who are getting deported, who have committed heinous crimes here, if I feel any type of indifference whatsoever, other than the fact that they should go back and do the time for the crime they did in their own country, I 100% think they should go back and do the crime for their own country. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I had a good friend who was killed. Because that kid who was illegal was running from the cops, ran a red light and killed my friend. And instead of facing a time, They let him go and he went back to Mexico. Never to serve the time for the crime that he did. And he already had a list of crimes that he was never prosecuted for. So my friend is dead. For what? And this is a man who loved God, who was always at my Bible studies, who loved his family, and he's dead. There is no do-over. Where's the justice? Now, I'm not talking about a guy who's trying to support his family, who's just working his job, and who's trying to get things right, but we have a broken, you-know-what immigration system. Help that brother out. But nobody wants the middle. We want extremism. And that's why you got what you got right now. And now you got people, again, in two camps. But where's the justice for my friend? And that's what I don't think people want to hear. People don't want to hear that. They're stuck on, well, where's the justice for this person's father? I agree. But here's the difference between me. I agree with you. I agree. Yes, let's help your dad. He hasn't done anything wrong. He's just trying to work for his family. Let's help him. But listen, two things can be right at the same time. And we've forgotten that. And the church needs to find its voice. And I think that's what we're losing on this whole immigration thing. What are your thoughts? Sorry, that was a little emotional, but that was my friend, and that was not right. And I know you guys know, and that wasn't right. But do you think I'm right? Two things can be right at the same time? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think that where we're at right now is that the system is so broken that in order to try to right the ship, there's going to be a lot of just fixing along the way. And I don't think that all of the quote unquote fixing is going to be what we would sign off on. But I think it's just so broken. And I think a lot of people are very passionate about this because it greatly affects people who we know. And I think that's why you get, at least here locally in California, in Fresno, like you get a lot of passionate protests and things like that because they think that it's coming to their doorstep, which, they very well may be right.
What do you think, Bishop?
Yeah.
Two things be right at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, like I was saying, this can be really emotional for a lot of people because a lot of people, it involves them directly. So, I mean, there's people who've been here for, 20 plus years and they're not legal. It's like, man, if I get caught up, I'm gone. It's people who are like, man, I don't know nothing about Mexico. And so it's like, I go there, like, they don't know what to do. And so, I mean, those are real stories. Those are real people, people who everyone would see like that shouldn't happen. But he came out and said, if you're illegal, I'm taking you. He's not hunting for them. He's going for the criminals. But people are getting caught up who are law-abiding citizens who are going to get deported.
Well, and he said that. He said, if we go into a house and you yourself are illegal hanging out with the perpetrator, you're going to go too. He did say that.
Or like a store or something like that. Like
he said that. Now, I will say this, and I'm going to show you a clip. I have two thoughts, and chime in. My first one is I see a lot more people posting on, what about people who did it the right way? They had to work for it. They had to pay for it. I do think they have a legitimate rife here. They have a legitimate case here. Like, hey, if we had to work for it, you should have to work for it. Now, I understand that. My only pushback to those people is our system's so broken. How are you going to do that for 20 million people who we should have helped them along the way a long time ago? That's my pushback. Not saying you're wrong, but just how do we do that tangibly? How do we do that realistically, right? So that's my first question. I think they have a valid point, but I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts on that. And then number two, and this might be a little bit trickier for you guys, okay? I don't know, maybe it's not. But would we be feeling this way if it was any other nationality? So in other words, and you can pick either one you want to talk about, okay? In other words, you saw the Mexico flags down on the freeway and in the protest. Would we feel that way if those were Chinese flags? Would it get as much publicity and as much run if it was Iraqi flags? Somali flags? Are you seeing where I'm going with this? German flags. Would you get any run if it was German flags?
No, they're white.
Yeah, but do you see where I'm going with this? No, but I'm just asking. Okay, so since you tried, I know which one, whatever one you want to tackle on. Go ahead.
Which laughed at?
That?
Ain't wrong. Hey, listen, we're gonna call right. We're gonna call a spade on this program. You're not wrong on that. Had it been, what was that? 2,000 people, or I think we had like 500 here protesting. If those were all German flags, they get no run. No, they get no news. They get no run. They get nothing. Period. Just let's be honest.
What was your first question?
The people who say these people should have done it the right way.
Oh,
what about me? I did it the right way. They're right, but it's almost an impossibility. But
yeah. And you hear so much information, or if you want to, you can hear so much information that sometimes it's really hard to really decipher, like, is this true?
Okay.
So like one of the things that I had heard was like the immigration courts are just taking so long to begin with that like even people who were trying to become legal, like it's just very hard.
Speaking for a friend who I know is trying, that's not exactly a lie.
And so I think one of the things...
County by county. County by county. So go ahead.
I think one of the things that I think should be communicated... say what you want about Trump, but one of the things that he does is he's not very gentle when he communicates. And so I think that he loses a lot of people's ears sometimes when you talk about very... sensitive stuff like this, and you're not gentle about it. Like one of the things I think he could be a little bit more gentle about, and maybe he is, and I'm just not hearing it, is like, what about these instances, or what about these people who are going to have an opportunity to become legal? Like he has that idea in his mind of like, hey, I do have a rollout plan for these people,
right?
But if you don't communicate that, everybody's going to get the thought that like you're shipping us all back,
right?
So if he would take the time to communicate what the different options are, what his different thoughts are, except for just the one like round them all up, send them all to Guantanamo Bay, like a lot of people are nervous about that, and rightfully so. And so I think that it's gonna, if he had a plan, that if he would share his plan, I think it would help people a little bit.
Can I piggyback off that real quick? So that brings me to that point of them coming out and saying churches and schools weren't safe. Once again, that's a bad PR move. Like even me, my knee-jerk reaction was like, okay, unless you know there's a criminal inside my church, I don't want you at my church. Like, and I wouldn't want you at my kids' school. Like, that's a little bit intimidating. Like, unless you know there's now if you know there's a criminal, like somebody just brought Circle K and they're in the church, well, please, by all means, come on in and get the guy. But I'm saying, unless you know that just to me, as a pastor, that doesn't create a very safe atmosphere. I'm just saying, like he, once again, could have been a little gentler. Gentler word is gentle. He could have been more gentle. More gentle. Okay, but gentler in this place, right? He could have been that, just a little softer, but he didn't. So I'm piggybacking off that. And pastors might feel indifferent about that. They may want ice there. I don't know. I'm just speaking for me.
Yeah, no, I don't want that.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I agree with you on that. Which one did you want to tackle?
Man, I think, the United States is obviously right next to Mexico, and so I think even culturally, they have the possibility of fitting in more, and they've obviously been here a lot longer, so there's a lot more resources for them compared to someone coming from Iran and coming and possibly Muslims and things like that. They want to come and change the culture. People will say about Mexicans too, but I think what they're coming
Muslims,
with, I think that what they're coming with is a lot less harsher and a lot more different. So I think there is a difference between the two.
I'll give you one.
At least in my opinion.
Canada. They're more of Canada touches more of America than Mexico touches of the United States. So if those were, don't comment because I already know your comment. So if we had 500 protesters at down here where they were protesting on Blackstone and Ease or whatever, if those were all Canadian flags, you think it'd be getting this much airtime?
No, they'd be laughing at them.
See, I knew you were going to say something. What's that leaf? Is that a pot leaf? What is that?
Make it legal. Make it legal.
Well, again, it's a lot. Everyone is close to someone who's obviously Hispanic. And everyone's close to someone who came from Mexico, and they know their story, and they're like, man, that's amazing that you're able to come here and change your family's life forever. So everyone's personally connected to it. So I think you have this attachment to it emotionally, and like you could think of someone in your head in this moment.
But can I ask?
Does that bother you?
But let me ask an honest question though. I may be going the same place you're going. Let me ask you this though. But if you're trying to win people over, I'm not saying they are. By the way, I'm not putting any words. Hey, we're having an honest, real, raw conversation. This is definitely going to make some people upset, but it's okay because this is how you have conversations. It needs to be some back and forth. So I'm going to ask this, and I'm going to ask it too because I am Mexican and people won't say nothing to me. Well, they will, but I won't care. Here's my question. Do you think, though, if you're trying to win people over and trying to get your side heard, do you think they're shooting themselves in the foot? In other words, if they're hamstringing themselves by only waving a Mexican flag and not waving an American flag too, saying we could both coexist. I want to make this right. We want to do right. But when you take a staunch line and you write all your signs in Spanish and it's these vulgar things, because a lot of them were vulgar, F this, F that, and your chants are vulgar, and there's no American flag. Do you think that's helping or hurting your cause?
Yeah, it's definitely hurting. I mean, I would be okay if the United States, if it was illegal to fly another nation's flag.
Well, they're making that.
Yeah.
You can't. You guys been to me in the Middle East. You ain't doing that in the Middle East.
Well, to think that you want to be an American and then you're so anti-American, like it doesn't make sense.
Okay. So you think they're helping or hurting their cause?
I don't know. I mean, they're making their voice heard.
Okay.
I think that's just the goal. I mean,
okay, so the goal is just to get your voice heard.
Yeah, because I don't think that they're really thinking that what they're going to do is actually going to make a difference.
Okay.
I mean, have they seen any videos of Trump? You're not moving him.
Is he wrong about that? Is he?
Oh, you shut down the freeway in LA. They're serious now. I'm going to change my mind.
So you're saying he did not wake up tomorrow going, "Dang it, I blew that one. I'm going to go ahead and recalibrate."
No. But I don't think they necessarily are thinking that they're moving him either. I think they're just making their voice heard, which they are. But if they are
what's the goal?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what their goal is. If their goal is to get other people to kind of move towards the middle where they would believe kind of in the same,
construct.
Yeah, then I don't think that you're doing a good job.
Okay.
You're borderline in BLM type stuff right now.
Yeah, shutting down freeways, which I still don't think you should shut down freeways. That is a big no-no in my book. You just don't shut down.
Well, you're like, they're hitting cars.
That's my point. You can't. Okay.
That are probably full of people who are Mexican.
Well, in LA, yes, that's 80% of cars. So I got this for you. Let me ask you this. Like I said, this is raw. Thank you for tuning in Not a Fit Podcast, talking about culture, its influence on the church. It's a big deal right now, especially over here in the South, in the West Coast, but on the Southwest too, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, all that. So I don't know what the goal is. And my thing is, this is what I think. And if you guys think I'm wrong, you just tell me. We make exceptions like we did for the East Indians to come over here with the HB1 visas and to work in the tech and to do the call services. We make things happen when it's in the best interest of these big companies. What I don't understand is why we haven't made it happen for all the blue collar workers, all the Hispanics who come over and who do construction, all the Hispanics who come over and work in the industry, whether it's fabrications or cooking. And we already know the low-hanging fruit is all the workers who come and they work the fields. Why have we made this so difficult? So in the one hand, I understand my people's frustrations. I understand, and I say my people because my family was pickers. I get it. Trust me, I get this. And I understand that frustrations, but I think we're pointed at the wrong thing, and I think we're dying on the wrong keel when a lot of these deportations, a lot of stuff that's going on right now are people who are known criminals. So in my own vexation over here, I'm going, guys, there is a better way to do this, and it's to get a hold of our congressmen, because it's not going to be through Trump. It's going to be through Congress. It's going to be through writing a real immigration bill. By the way, and I want to say this because nobody says this. Nobody deported more people than Obama, President Obama. They called him the deporter in chief. I have a friend, my mentor, dear friend, his best friend pastored the largest Spanish-speaking church in America. And ICE would camp out after church. This is during Obama's presidency. And they would take people from his church as soon as church got out. He was a deporter in chief. But you never knew that. Nobody even knows it. People have to Google that because they don't know it. But we have to get a hold of our Congress members. So I'm just throwing that out there. I want you to see this clip. This is Erwin McManus. If you guys don't know, he is Salvadorian. He's fluent. English was his first language. He's an immigrant. The McManus part, I'll let him explain that to you, how he got that. Nice Scottish name. There you go, right there. It's a nice Scottish name, McManus.
I'm not Scottish.
No, but I'm saying this.
What are you trying to say?
Your people. That's your people too. Like you're all right there.
You always come to every white dude.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all, Scottish, Irish. Don't y'all mix?
Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, not the same thing?
They're on two different islands, bro. We're on two different spaces. You guys are right next to each other, and you guys even intermingle.
Okay, my bad. You and Guatemalans.
No, they're different. Okay.
Yeah.
Watch the clip. Here you go. That was low.
The immigrants, like myself, we actually know who's being allowed across now. The very people we left because of, we're now letting into this country. And we're acting as if it's an act of nobility, but it's actually an act of irresponsibility. We are going to end up like those countries if we don't actually rethink our policies. I don't know anyone who's against immigration. I know endless people who are against illegal, undocumented immigration.
Okay, so what first off, Erwin's very articulate. The guy's very good. What did you think about that statement? Did you get into the nuance of what he was talking about? I don't know anybody against immigration. You're against this illegal immigration and the type of people who are coming over are going to turn us back into. He's Salvadorian. He knows exactly what he's talking about. He's going to turn us into that. Do you think he's wrong in that, or do you think this clip is going to do him an injustice? Go ahead, Mike.
No, I mean, it might be a stretch when you say it's going to turn us into a place to where they came from. But I think that is it
a stretch if it's over time?
I mean, I still don't think it's gonna get to where. Okay. I mean, but I understand. Okay. I definitely understand what he's saying, and that's been kind of one of my biggest gripes in regards to like open border policy, and just there's a book that I read with shout out to Alex Trevino, and I read this book a while back. It's called Enrique's. I think it's Enrique's Journey. Okay. Great book, and it talks about this boy who comes from Honduras and how he rides the train all the way from Honduras through Mexico, and just the hardship that he faced in order to get to the country, only to get sent back. And it's a great book, but it really shows like what the average trip really is like, and what happens with young kids and women as they cross the border.
Yes.
And this is what's happening when you have open policy. Like, I'm totally for people being able to come in and done the right way, and I think that's the more humane way. Because what he's talking about is these, this coyotes, these people who are just making money.
Cartels.
Now you got the cartels. But I was actually even looking up the percentage of the who's coming over in 2022. They said it was the biggest population of people coming over was people from Asia.
It was.
And that's not really talked about either. It's always kind of like the Mexicans.
That just made the news. The leader of the pro-Palestinian movement on the UCLA campus wasn't even Palestinian. She was Chinese nationalist. Yeah, go figure. I said the leader of the Palestinian movement was a pro-Chinese nationalist. That just doesn't even sound right.
Well, and I didn't even believe it until Deshaun was. He had shown me some videos. Man, this is probably like a year ago. Of people coming over.
It was all Middle Eastern Asian.
Eastern Asian, African.
It was no Mexicans in sight.
In Florida, they just got two big groups traveling, and they were all Chinese.
Yeah,
and they're talking about like they spend like $10,000 to $50,000.
Okay, so why this stigma that? Why this stigma that every time we think illegal immigration, we think Mexicans?
I mean, I think we were in California.
Oh, is that just because of geography?
What I've seen a lot of Haitians and things like that.
Oh, bro, that's all they talk about in the Midwest is all Haitian. Okay, so you think that's just us because we're okay. No, what'd you think of Erwin's video? What'd you think of that?
Yeah, I think they want people to be able to get here because they want a better life, and so they want to come here legally. But we do have to vet people when they come here. We can't just allow anyone.
Okay, why
to
is
come
that
in.
taboo to say though? Why is that taboo?
Well, I don't know because so the other side of it, what could happen?
Okay, but when you go to your kids' school, don't they vet you if you was to go on a field trip?
Yeah.
And that's just a field trip. Hopefully, you give me that look. I don't know. Well, they should be. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, you want safety? Okay, but the thing you talked about is like other people coming here for all these tech jobs, and Indians coming here, and Asians coming here, and because they're highly educated or they're coming here for education. So you can discriminate pretty easily because they have greater value. You can go find anyone to go pick at the fields. It's true. You can find anyone to go do.
Everybody may not want to.
You may want, but you can do it. And it's easier to find someone to do construction.
Coding, programming,
So these other people, they're more valuable to people, and so you can see that maybe discriminating against people who come from Mexico compared to other places.
Okay, that's a very good point. Okay. Whew, man, we covered that subject. That was good. My overall take on that is the church needs to fight for the radical middle. We need to be able to have conversation and dialogue. And thank you for bringing up all these points. I know this was an easy subject. Like I said, I think you're right. I think there's certain stigmas we're fighting through. But at the end of the day, we have to all ask ourselves, what do we want the end result to be? What do we want the end result to be? And I think you're right. I think it should be to our neighbors to the south, which is Mexico, and all South America. We should have an open door, a properly vetted open door to get the people who want to come and find the American dream. I'm all for that. People to the north, the Canadians, although we don't ever see those flags, I think the same thing as well. I totally do. And to the perpetrators or those who are coming here just to do vile, nasty, evil things, you gotta get rid of those people. And by the way, I would say that if they're American, you need to lock those people up. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm castigating or demonizing anybody. If you do the crime, you got to do the time. That's just that simple.
I don't know what the details are about Guantanamo Bay, but it sounds pretty dope.
That was stuff, bro. I've never heard of that in my entire life. I was like, they said what? I had to listen to that clip 3 times. They said they opened up Guantanamo.
If you get caught taking some kids across the border,
they shipping you.
Oh, man.
No stops past go. Yeah, I'm telling you. Well, that'll put the fear of God. Hey, I'm telling you right now.
Because we can't do firing lines anymore.
You can't do firing lines, but Guantanamo Bay is a game changer. I'll just leave it. Okay, so I found this clip, and sometimes when I find clips, when I don't like them, I try to theologically kind of break them down a little bit, like, he's wrong about that. And I know I don't like it because it's speaking to my soul, and it's like, hey, you need to change. Like, you need to get on board with this Holy Spirit speak. It's kind of like a Holy Spirit butt whipping type deal. And so when I know I immediately go to defensiveness and theological breakdown, I know I need to listen to the clip again. Man, I feel like this guy's spot on or something. I want you guys to watch this clip.
You know what the number one destroyer of community is? It's pride. Pride. Number one destroyer of community. You know what pride is? Let me define for you what pride is. Pride is you get easily offended. You are easily hurt. You are easily disappointed. And you are easily discouraged. When you think the world is out to get you, you think everything is against you, you think everybody's hurting you and disappointing you, and you feel disillusioned and cynical of life, you have so much pride. You know what humility is? You know, like some people I'm like, wow, that's a humble person. You know who that is? That person overcomes their hurt, disappointment, discouragement, the weak moment, and continues to forgive, reconcile, and love in the power of Jesus' name. Can I get an amen on that? That's humility.
I'm telling you, there's an amen on that. That was incredible. What'd you think of that? I told you that was good.
Yeah. I think he's spot on because it's always about you.
Always about you.
It's always about you.
Which one of those is your Achilles heel? Like disappointment, offense. Like he said, what is that? Disappointed, offended, easily hurt. Like which one?
I think I'll probably go to offense. I like to keep score.
Ooh, you like keep score?
No, I don't like to keep score.
Oh, yeah. It just happens?
No, you said what's my Achilles heel,
okay.
not what do I like.
Okay.
It's not the sweet spot. No, but I'd say, like, if I'm just being honest, like, I think that's one of the things that I probably have to work on the most is I keep score.
What about you, Bishop? Which one? Easily disappointed, hurt, offense. Was there a fourth one? Did I miss the fourth one? Disappointed, hurt, easily offended, discouraged.
Man, I don't know. I don't really deal with any of those. I feel
like I'm sitting next to John the Baptist or Jesus right now. I feel so unholy in your presence.
Hey, they say you're supposed to get a friend who's higher up. I got
that's
one.
Easy. Yeah, it's easy. We got Deshaun.
I don't mean, but I can tell you what I think. I mean, I tell myself, like, hey, life sucks. Keep moving forward. Or a lot of times we worked overnight. I was going to tell someone this, forgot. It'd be a hard day, working 3 jobs, working overnight. I'm like, it's like, 6 o'clock's going to come and I'm going to be asleep. That's all I tell myself. Just keep moving forward. I'm serious. I was like, time's going to keep moving. Just keep moving forward. So I don't know, man. I don't think I tell you the truth, I don't think I'm...
You feel like everybody's out to get you. That was the fourth one. This world's out to get you.
I don't think I'm great at a lot of stuff. God's with me. So I don't... I'm like, if you say I suck, I'm like, man, you probably right. I don't know what to tell you. My wife loves me. I don't know why. My mom loves
me. You're sad, huh? That's all you needed.
Yeah.
Hey, it's funny. I'm gonna be real with you. That's funny. That is funny though. You know, it's true. I hardly, very rarely see you offended or upset. Like that's true. Like that's 100 right there.
If you get him mad,
but yeah, I have seen you mad.
You did something wrong.
No, one thing that really does bother me though, when I see people treat someone else I care about badly.
Yeah.
Like that makes it makes me mad. So I mean, this happened just recently. Someone said something about you, and
that would be offense. Yeah.
Someone said something about you recently. Now I'm like, forget this person. Yeah. Like, listen.
Somebody said something about me again?
Yeah, you already know about it. And
I was saying my name's been clean for a while though.
I was like, I'm down to go fight this dude. Like, and so
it's been good.
I think that really does bother me when someone like cares about. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, no, yeah, but just everybody who doesn't know Bishop, like I very rarely see you get upset. Unlike me, on the other hand. No, you know what? I don't know if it's between offense and disappointed, because I get these lofty like dreams of how things are supposed to work out, and they just don't work out that way. That's why Job hit so good. Job has some plans, it didn't work out, and he's like, man, if we get a plan B, and then plan B didn't go, can we get a plan C? I'm in 30s right now. He's like in D right now. Like, this ain't good. You know what I mean? But I think that's so true, and it is pride, because you had a way you wanted it to work out. You didn't ask God, and offense too. This is a secret. This is a Christian dynamic secret right here. If you could walk in humility, if you could walk in forgiveness, if you could walk in just really putting on the armor of God so these things don't stick to you, you're going to be a happy person. You're going to be a happy person. My wife, love her, shout out to Mandy. She said something today, blew me away. She said, babe, I couldn't stop reading Job last night. I just read it all the way through. And you know, everybody titles the sermon with Job double for his trouble, because he does. He ends up living double the life too, 140 plus years more. Gets more kids, all this. But listen, she said God didn't give him that until he forgave everybody. Blew me away. Just blew me away. We want the double for our trouble, but we don't want to do what Job did. Everybody wants your gains. They just don't want to pay your price. And when most people don't understand, if you think the price you're paying is too high, wait till you get the bill of regret, because you didn't want to pay it. And that's what people don't understand. So you're right. We should walk in the opposite of that. We should be walking in humility. Saying, you know what, God, I'm going to let that go because you let my sins go. I'm going to let that go. God, you know, I'm not going to get offended at that. I'm going to move forward. I was joking with my wife. I went to a conference this last week. I won't say where, because I'm going to protect the guilty. I was carrying a backpack. Had my Bible, my laptop. Carried the same backpack, everywhere, some gum, you know, stuff. You know me, I don't carry nothing. Got my glasses, though. Don't make fun of me. I got my glasses. Stuff getting hard to see these days. Up close, that is. Perfect vision if it's far. Up close. And every night I went. Every day I went. Every time we had service, right? I had to walk to the doors. They always check my backpack. Really? Every time. They check my backpack. Sir, can you open your backpack, please? And I kept my cool every time. As I watched other people who had backpacks didn't get checked.
Ooh.
I just kept my cool. You know why? Because I knew God had something in that conference for me. I went and got so blessed. God was speaking to me. And if you don't keep your cool, you know what you're going to dam up your own blessings. Yeah. And you wonder why God ain't talking to you, because you kept the fence. You know, let that slide. There's bigger problems right now than you getting your backpack checked. Now, to their defense, they had an incident where this guy came in the church and they had to literally call the police because he interrupted a service, started cussing the pastor out, and then everybody thought he had a bomb in his backpack because he had a backpack on. So I'm not mad at that. What my flesh was upset about is, if you're going to check me, you need to check everybody. Right. Which, you know, most people would say, hey, he's got a point there. But guess what? I'm not going to let that stop me from my own blessing. I'm not going to let that incident rob me from what God has for me. God has something for me, and I want it. I want it more than I want my pride. I want it more than I want my ego. I want it more than I want this offense. I want it more. Therefore, if I want it more, I'm going to let that slide. I'm going to go in and say, God, I'm not leaving until I touch the hem of your garment. Until I get what you got for me. Okay, so here it is. Let's just close on this. Okay, so you said offense, and you said offense, which is fine. Just give somebody a little helpful, you know, a little 1, 2, 3 step here on how not to, you know, take things so offensively, or walk them through what you do to try to calm yourself down through a spirit of offense, and then you too. So we're gonna start with you. Go ahead. How would you help them if they're a person who says, I struggle really easy with offense?
I think 2 things. First is that you should have a trusted confidant who you can speak whatever you're feeling to, and that way you can ask them, hey man, am I seeing this the wrong way? Am I overreacting? I had asked him about something earlier this morning. I said, hey man, am I overreacting? Because I can get there, right? It doesn't take much for me to pop. And so I would say that. And then another thing that I picked up a couple years ago was just looking for the best in somebody else. And so not assuming. Oftentimes I would assume like where somebody's coming from when they would say something or they would do something, and then oftentimes I'd be wrong and only have to eat crow later on. And I may not even have to verbally say I'm sorry, but like I'm repenting for how I'm feeling towards this person, only to find out their true intentions were something different than I was really thinking. And so really looking for the best in somebody before I jump the gun.
I love it. What you got, Bishop?
No, I think one thing that really helps me that I've been fortunate to have is have people around me who I love and love me.
Okay.
And that helps. I think that helps me to, hey, you got something negative to say about me? It's okay. You know, I know who people who really know me and care about me, what they think about me. And I think that helps a lot with me being offended or if people have negative things to say about me. And also, I do have like some pride, like in terms of like, I'm proud of who I am and, you know, what I do. And to also have some of that confidence. Like, well, let me say confidence instead of pride in who you are already. So not every time someone says something about you, like you take that and you wear that, whether good or bad. Okay. You become too inflated or you become, let that draw you down. But really, who does God say that you are, and walk in that and let that be sort of your confidence that you walk in. So you're not swayed so easily, and then that brings these emotions out of you that you don't want.
Man, both of those are really good. Thank you so much. And I love how that same theme of just having the right people around you. Boy, your crew means everything.
Yeah.
I mean, once again, just going through Job, your crew means everything. So I want to talk a little bit about disappointed. I feel like people, disappointment, discouragement. I just want to shout y'all out real quick. First off, what I always try to do, and this is my secret sauce right here. It's not done. The story's not over. What you know in partial, God knows in full. And for those of you feeling disappointed or dejected or dissuaded about a situation right now, God's not done yet. It's not over. We don't know how the rest of the story goes. We don't know how the rest of the chapters go. How disappointed if Job would have ended in the 30s? How disappointed if it would have just ended right there, right in the 20s or even in the teens? How disappointed would people would have been? But we have the luxury of reading ahead. I want you to know that God has already read ahead and he's already wrote ahead. All you got to do is stay the course. I just need you to know that all the demons in hell thought by Friday night this was a victory lap. They were doing a victory dance, had a weekend party. Little did they know early Sunday morning, just like Jesus said, he would rise from the dead. And so I want to encourage all of you, your story's not done. Don't give up now. Now's the time to press in. Don't let nothing rob you of that blessing. But keep moving forward and know that God's not done writing the rest of your story. And there's still time and there's still space for God to move in this place. He's going to do something amazing in your life. Just put your head down, keep working, keep serving God, become the best disciple that God has intended you to be. Lean into the Holy Spirit, get yourself a crew who believes in you and what you do, and watch God write the rest of the story. He's got something for you. This has been the Not Offended Podcast. Peace. We're out.
What's going on, fam? This is Anthony from the Not Offended Podcast, the conservative Chicano right here. If y'all could do me a favor, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you could leave a comment, hit the like button, but most of all, if you could hit subscribe, we'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.